Hello and welcome back to my channel. I'm Kitsimus. We're on to bag 8 now. There are actually 3 steps to this, but I'm going to combine it all into the same video because a lot of it is repeated. So we're going to assemble the turnbuckles, and if you look closely at your turnbuckle, on one side there is a little notch. Because of how highly reflective it is, you can't really see it in the video, but just know that there is a notch, and it advises that you keep the notch to the left hand side so that you can tell which ones are the left and right hand threads. Instructions also advise that you put a little dab of black grease on the thread. That'll just aid it in threading. And there we go, they start quite nicely. I always forget when there's a left and right handed side which way to start it. So that's the left handed thread, and that's going on that way. And then on the other side, this is a right hand thread, so that'll just thread on normally the way you would expect. Okay. So I've got that started. Now you can use a rule for this, but I strongly recommend you get yourself a set of digital calipers, because the instructions, I've got them all laid out. So I've got my front camber turnbuckles, I've got my steering turnbuckles, and I've got my rear camber turnbuckles. So what I'm going to do is just pause the video, assemble all of them, because you don't want to watch that, it'd be pretty boring. One thing to note, it does clearly explain this in the manual, but I know a few people have missed this, and through keeping an eye on the forums, what I've noticed, so you've got these, for the steering, you've got these offset ends. So the ball cup there for the left hand side, and the ball cup there for the right hand side. Now they're offset, and if you look, they're labelled left and right. So you're actually putting them on the wrong hands, and that's because these parts were made for the 4-wheel drive buggy. So on the 4-wheel drive buggy, that one is the left hand. Here it's actually the right hand. Just be aware of that, because obviously, although it's mentioned in the instructions, it has confused a few people, and a few people have been asking on the forums. So they've just not changed the lettering because they're using the same part number that the 4-wheel drive buggy used. Right, so I'll pause and I'll get those assembled. There we go, and as if by magic, I've assembled all of the turnbuckles. So the front camber turnbuckles, put the calipers on, and they are 22.5. Your steering turnbuckles, 27.9, and your rear camber turnbuckles, they're 24.2. So I'm keeping them in the pairs. Just going to move them out of the way, and we'll bring the chassis back in. There we go. So front steering turnbuckles, let's put the front camber ones on first. So the front camber turnbuckles, you've got one cup at 90 degrees to the other, and that's going to fit like so. Let's see how easy it is to push these on. Not too bad at all. There we go, so that's one on. and right, this one. I'm going to have to adjust that one because I've got it the right length but it's handed the other way. There we go. So that's the front camber links on. Put the steering ones on. And they should be that way around. And they're nice and parallel. Yeah, so the steering turnbuckles are coming out exactly horizontally and they appear parallel with the ground, so that should be good for eliminating bump steer. We'll come around to the rear. And we've got one on. Two on. So there we go. All of the ball cups have got a little hole in the end of them, which should mean that when we're changing positions, so for example, if I wanted to change the front pickup position, I can actually get in there and undo the thread of the ball stud quite easily. And just with the factory settings, obviously things may change once I've set ride height, but at the minute with it sat on the table, the front steering arms, they're coming out, basically they're parallel to the ground plane, and they're coming out perpendicular to the centre line of the chassis, so that should give us very little bump steer, but we'll find out when we build it up. So that concludes bag 8, and that's steps 1, 2 and 3. And we're probably going to be combining some steps in the next video because that's building up the dampers, so obviously it's going to be repeated 4 times, but I'll probably just go through building up one front and one rear damper and combine those videos. So thank you very much for watching. If you're enjoying my videos, please press subscribe, and I will see you in the next video. Thank you very much.